review time with Imperial, and today's review is Roadhouse 2024. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. Now, I'm late to the party on this movie. It's been out for a few months now, and I had it on my list to watch, and I finally got around to it. So it's a good movie, and I really don't remember the original with Patrick Swayze either. So I might take a look at that original. So let's go over the cast. So you got Jake Gyllenhaal plays as Dalton. Daniel Melchior plays as Ellie, which is co-star. Billy Magnuson plays as Ben. B.K. Cannon plays as Laura, bar attendant. Jessica Williams plays as Frankie, owner of the Roadhouse bar. Conor McGregor plays as Knox. Joaquin D. Almeida plays as Sheriff. He played in this movie on Netflix that I was watching. I can't think of the name right now, but it was it got boring. But it's a Netflix special. It'll come back to me. Post Malone had a cameo as Carter. Let's see if it was anybody else. Lucas Gage plays as Billy. And that's pretty much it. There was a cameo. That was it. So the synopsis reads that ex-UFC fighter Dalton takes a job as a bouncer at Florida Keys Roundhouse, only to discover that this paradise is not what it all seems. So it starts off in a cage. The cameo by Post Malone is in this underground fighting club, beating people up, and he's earning money while he's doing it and just knocking people out one by one. Dalton comes in and sits down, had a hood on, and then once Post Malone's character notices who he is, he instantly said, nah, I'm out of here. I'm not fighting him. And Carter leaves and turns it down. So they just gave the money to Dalton. Meanwhile, you have the owner, Frankie, that's in Florida Keys. She was sent to that private underground club to recruit a bouncer, and her bouncer was supposed to be Carter. But when she seen what took place with Dalton, that's where her interest went to. So as Dalton was walking out of the club, this guy came up to him, pretty much told him, hey, I lost $500 because of you. And so he had a knife, and he just ran up to Dalton, stabbed him, and then Dalton pretty much took it and grabbed him and told him get going. So he stabbed him, the knife was still in him. Frankie came up, talked to him, pretty much offered a position, told him come to the Florida Keys. He told her he wasn't interested. She said, well, I'm going to leave you with my number. So that night, he was sleeping in his car, down on his luck, and a cop pretty much told him, hey, this is not a sleeping grounds. He drove off, and then it was train tracks, and he pretty much pulled in the middle of the train tracks, basically looking at his life like, let me just end it. And then at the last moment, he thought of, nah, not right now. So he went to start his old car up. It barely started. And he barely was able to pull off just in time where the train caught the tail end of the car. At that moment, he looked at the number. Obviously, he made a call. And he showed up to the bar. Now, when he got to the bar, it looks like a friendly, nice place. But what's happening is, once people get in the bar, it's off to the beach. People get in the bar and just start fighting. And a certain crew is coming in all the time, starting fights. And it's bad for business. So she wants a bouncer pretty much that can come in and regulate. Meanwhile, she barely gets assistance from the police. So you find out that the police is under a crime boss's payroll, so that's why they barely participate. You also find out the reason why the particular gang or goons are targeting her establishment is because they want her property. They want her to sell so that they can move their drugs. It's closer her location. So meanwhile, she owns a boat, and Dalton wanted to take his money to go buy a boat so he could sleep, have a place to sleep. She pretty much said the boat came with the bar, and he could stay there. So right out the gates, it jumps into him at the bar. Some goons come in bullying people, and he pretty much told them, leave people alone. He's coming off peaceful at first, and then they was like, get out of here, breaking pool sticks. And he said, that's your bikes out there? So he started to walk out there towards his bike. So they ran after him. He got them out there. It was about 4 of them. He beat them up real bad, broke their arms. And so he told Frankie, hey, we need to get these men to a hospital. They said, we're at the hospital 20 minutes from here. They took him to the hospital, and he told all the nurses and everything, everything was wrong with each one of them. So that was like comic relief that he beat him up and then took him to the hospitals. From there, what took place, he met a nurse, and she's from the town, and they hit it off, and so that becomes his love interest. And she tells him some things about the Florida Keys town. So also while he's there, he met this teenage girl and her dad. They own a bookstore, and the people are terrorizing the people in the town, but they refuse to sell their shop too. So long story short, without going play by play, of course he starts regulating, and the main guy who he's supposed to Ben, who he's wants the property, Ben's dad is the head boss that's in jail, and Ben is supposed to be running things. Ben, that's the last property he need, is Frankie's Roadhouse club / bar. And so Ben sent his goons there. That's not working. So the dad got whiff of what's going on and reached out to Knox, which is Conor McGregor. So in true Conor McGregor fashion, he comes in and fits right in with the role, playing a badass who come in to wreck shop. So wherever Conor was, he ended up finally making it over to the Keys, and he comes in and wreck shop right from the gates, and him and Dalton get into a fight. And Conor's comic relief because he being all animated, beating people up while he's being animated. He was animated all the way up to the end. So what eventually took place is that one of the goons came to Jake while he was in his boathouse, and it was a live crocodile somewhere around in the area, and Jake threw him off the boat, and of course the crocodile killed him. And then Jake started doing his recon after they burned down the girl, the teenager, and her dad who owned the bookstore. They burned their place down, and the little girl got hurt. So that he was about to leave at the time because Frankie didn't tell him that the real reason why she Ben wanted her place. She made it seem like they just was targeting her place for no reason. So he was going to leave until he seen the little girl got hurt. So then he went in rage mode and start dropping people off. So he killed a couple people in the process, and seen a cop that was going to take some money out to Ben, beat the cop up, took the money. They wanted the money back, so Ben kidnapped Ellie. Now her dad is the sheriff. The sheriff at one point during the movie did run into Dalton, used his police officers to beat Dalton up, but Ellie came in and smacked her dad, pretty much told him back off. So when Jake hid the money and he went out to the boat where Ben was, what takes place is he gets there, the sheriff is there, the sheriff is cool, but Ben double crossed the sheriff, and let him know that he had his daughter Ellie kidnapped as well. That was his reassurance that everybody's gonna play ball. So by this time, Knox is headed out there to even the score with Dalton. So he, like I said, he's animated, so he's headed out there to Dalton blows up a portion of the boat, and when he blows it up, the boat starts sinking. He had to get Ellie out, and then they end up making it to the last scene where they end up at Frankie's Roadhouse bar, and the last fight scene between Knox and Dalton, they get it on, and Dalton gets stabbed by Knox, and then he ended up taking the knife out, stabbing Dalton. Dalton had like a broken wood that was real sharp. He stabbed him twice in the throat, neck, shoulder. So he ended up killing him. But before then, Ben kept telling Knox, trying to tell Knox what to do. And so Knox just snapped on Ben's neck with ease. So that was cool. So after that, he killed. Knox died. The sheriff showed up. Ellie was there, and the sheriff pretty much told Dalton, like, get going. I'm going to say that you wasn't here. I got your back. And Frankie and them came, start cleaning up the restaurant. And, you know, looks like their troubles is over for now. Meanwhile, Dalton got on a bus to leave. The little girl and her dad was cleaning up their shop. The little girl was like, you know, he's pretty much, she said he's a hero. And he's like, I'm not a hero. And she told him, you know, had something to say towards it. And he left the case full of money with the dad. By the time the dad came out to try to thank him, he was already on the bus leaving. That was the end of the movie. So the movie was decent, action-packed, had some humor in it. Out of my 4-star rating system, I'm gonna give this movie a 2.5 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.